The new ban list is here, and everybody is up in arms about this potentially changing the meta, and I don't particularly believe that that is the case. Let's take a look. Now, I will say this will hinder some decks, but I don't think triple Ds, as everybody's saying, is going to be out of the tier running. They might go tier 2, maybe even drop down to tier 3, or if all things are good, they might even stay tier 1 just for a little while longer. So the first thing that gets hit down to 1 is DD Savant Thomas. Now, although Savant Thomas is a fairly powerful card, I'll tell you this, I don't even really use Savant Thomas in my builds. I have used it. It is a little OP, but I don't even necessarily use Savant Thomas in my personal builds. Savant Kepler is my card of choice, and this being limited to 2, while it will slow down the engine, I don't think it's going to hinder my deck that much. I do have substitutes that I can use. Savant Kepler is a great search card, as well as Savant Thomas, but it's not necessary. Turn 1, turn 2, I do have a deck that I believe will continue to stay on the tier list. The really big hits that are supposedly happening were supposed to be the Burning Abyss, and I will say Farfa being down to 3, even though it does limit it from having access to limited 3 cards, Farfa down to 3 doesn't really do that much to the deck either. I think this was their attempt, based on the new KCGT that just finished, to say, hey, these 2 decks really dominated, but I don't fully believe that they really and truly hit these decks or hit these archetypes as much as they should have. I think Burning Abyss should have been hit a little bit harder, and I honestly will say I think even triple Ds and double Ds, whatever you want to call it, I believe this deck should have been, or this archetype should have been hit a little bit harder as well, but at least this will give us some insight as to what players will do now that the ban list is here. No longer on the list is Fusion Reserve. I don't even know why this is on the list in the first place. It's now off the list, so congratulations. I can't even remember ever facing a tier 1 deck that really used Fusion Reserve anyway, but it's good to know that it's back. Let's take a look at now the skill rebalancings that are happening. So first and foremost, Command of the Doom King being hit. I think this is definitely going to stop triple Ds, because a lot of decks use Command of the Doom King, where they rely on Command of the Doom King to set up those pendulum zones. Once again, I don't even use Command of the Doom King. I still have a tier 1 deck that I can still get around most decks without having to use half the cards that are here and half the skills that are here. Battle Ancient Gear has such a little minuscule edit into the text, but I think we're gonna have to test it out to see if this can actually work and be a viable deck. Ancient Gears traditionally were a great deck in the past. Let's see if they'll make a comeback. That's pretty much all they have. I will say it's good to know that Konami is still paying attention to the KCGT and the tier list for Duel Links, because a lot of attention has been on Master Duel, but congratulations, they are listening to the players, and they took a look at the KCGT and said, a little too much Burning Abyss and triple Ds. There you have it. Let's talk about something else now.